Bum 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 bum.
And welcome to the merriest archive episode of the year. Granted, that's a pretty low bar, but still. So, anyway, yes, it is once again time for our annual Christmas Craptacular. Emphasis on rap this year. Yeah, this is going to be one of the really painful ones this year. Just a little warning there. But there is one pretty big bright spot in all this. I was quite thrilled when I was asked to help out with the great annual tradition, North American tradition of tracking Santa, with NORAD, the Aerospace Defense Command. So, of course, I jumped at the opportunity. Unfortunately, this episode drops on December 22nd and not the 24th. So just pretend it's the 24th or hold off till the 24th to watch this. Not that it really matters. I think I'm the victim of to use the government vernacular, snafu here. So this is what they sent me to use for news updates. And I think it might be slightly outdated. But nonetheless, let's do our patriotic duty here and check in with our friends over at NORAD in Colorado Springs.
This is Captain Bill Burke at Computer Control in the NORAD Combat Operations Center. The North American Air Defense Command is responsible for the air defense of the United States and Canada. Any unfriendly or unknown aircraft approaching our two countries must be identified by communications or by interception so that we can maintain the security of our airspace. Well, a few minutes ago, we were notified that our radar warning station at Thule, Greenland is tracking a strange object, which was first detected near the North Pole and is now on a course to Canada and the United States. According to the radar operator, the object does not appear to be an airplane or a missile. It's traveling too slow for a missile and too low to be an airplane. The radar return shows one large object apparently being pulled through the air by 8 smaller ones. We'll keep tracking this unknown, and we'll have more information on it as soon as we complete our computer check. This is Captain Bill Burke at the NORAD Combat Operations Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Thank you, Captain. Anyway, let's get down to proper archive business here. So I've got 4 items to cover this year, 2 albums and 2 videos, and we'll alternate this year. So let's kick things off with one of the albums, and this is also easily the least worst of the lot. As per usual, we'll ease ourselves into the really bad stuff. So last year I covered the 1983 Care Bears Christmas album, and like clockwork, almost immediately after that episode dropped, I started getting requests to cover the other big 80s cutesy-wootsy cartoon Christmas album from the Smurfs, and that album was also released in 83.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all over the earth, children were watching for the appearance of a Smurf? Merry Christmas with the Smurfs is now available in this special television offer. This one-of-a-kind collection can be delivered right to your home in time for the holidays.
Well, after the requisite 6 to 8 weeks for delivery, I finally got my grubby little mitts on a cassette copy of Merry Christmas with the Smurfs. And it's kind of what you would expect out of the Smurfs. For one, taking that name Smurf and turning it into a verb and awkwardly shoehorning it in all over the place. So, smurfing bells as opposed to jingle bells, that sort of thing. Now, I have to admit here, when I was the appropriate age for the Smurfs, they were on their way out. So I do remember seeing them a few times, but I don't have any great nostalgia for them. I don't think, at least, I had any of their toys or anything like that. I couldn't name half the Smurfs if you put a gun to my head. So yeah, I think this is probably the biggest dose of Smurfdom I've ever had in my life. So understandably, when I first heard this album, I was kind of, tilting my head. My first thought was, did they outsource this to save money or something? Why did the Smurfs have kind of this Dutch accent? Well, showing my naivete here, the Smurfs had been around a little while before they debuted here in America in 1981. They debuted in the late 50s in Belgium and over time spread out throughout Europe. And really, by the time we got them here in the States in the early 80s, you could probably argue it was a bit belated. So anyway, this was not their first rodeo in terms of music. And in fact, they had an absolutely monster hit single throughout Europe in 1977, 78. And I guess the thing hit number one in like 16 countries. And of course, there had been Smurfs albums and so on. So yeah, by the time 1983 rolled around, we here in the States were probably way overdue for a Smurfs album. Now, as implied, it is the regular Belgian performers handling things here, and those poor guys must have had to have recorded this a bunch of different times in a bunch of different languages. But at least as far as the English version goes, I have to give them credit. They acquit themselves quite well. Accents aside, everything makes sense, nothing gets too mangled, it's all listenable. Now, on the musical end of things, it's well performed and well engineered and stuff, but strictly musically speaking, it's a very uneasy mix of early 80s pop rock and I guess you could say more traditional European music, including polka. I think I'd rather have seen it lean more towards the traditional stuff. For whatever reason, the more pop end of things just makes it feel very, very off-kilter to my ear. So anyway, if you're familiar at all with the Smurfs, you know that there's a certain amount of chipmunking going on, recording slowly and then playing back fast. And whenever I cover a record like this, I always like to take parts of it and slow it down to the natural pitch. And I've done that here, and it kind of backfired on me. So normally when I do this sort of thing, at least I think it's pretty funny. This time around, it just turned out weirdly depressing.
Smurfing bells, laughter all the way. Snowflakes white are falling down on a sunny winter day. We sing a happy song, a robin flies along, a rabbit runs ahead of us in case we should go wrong. Christmas, Christmas, hip hooray, Santa Claus is on his way. Stockings over our fireplace will be filled in the next few days. Christmas, Christmas, hip hooray. Smurfs and kids are wide awake now. Doobie-doobie-doo, ba-dim bam bay. Chickens, turkeys, ducks and pheasants, yummy, yummy, yum, ba-dim bam bay. Clapping feet, clapping hands, jingle jangle up the dance, so inviting, so exciting.
With a hop and a
how they sing. Sweet how they sing.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. To people and Smurfs, be it far, be it near, we sing Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yes, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
This is Captain Bob Murphy at NORAD's Ballistic Missile Early Warning Station in Alaska. Our equipment is primarily designed to detect and track incoming ballistic missiles, and it can also track satellites passing over this area. We have just picked up an object headed toward the United States and Canada from a starting point that our computers tell us is North Pole. These same computers show that the object is a large sled-like container with a propulsion system unlike any jet or rocket device presently known to science. The pilot of this device has been identified as having a long white beard and wearing a red suit. He apparently is shouting something to the components of his power unit. We were able to make out a ho 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 and a on Donner and Blitzen. This is Captain Bob Murphy reporting.
Ain't nothing like a Cold War Christmas, is there? Anyway, I might be treading on very dangerous ground by even attempting to cover today's first video, but it's so amateurishly made and it's so stereotypically Archivian that I just cannot ignore this one. But this one does deserve the proper build-up first. So first and foremost, it is indeed what's on the box today. But our story takes us to the Scranton, Pennsylvania area. And once upon a time, there was a, I guess, pretty dang famous, if you will, mall Santa out there. I guess he was a bit of a legend in the mid-Atlantic region for a while. And some could argue that he took his Santa duties a little too seriously. In 1995, he legally changed his name to Santa Claus, specifically Santa Allentown Claus, I guess because of the proximity to Allentown, Pennsylvania. And rather amusingly, by default, his wife became Dolores Claus. So Mrs. Claus has a first name now. Anyway, in the mid to late 90s, I think, the Clauses opened up their own reindeer ranch. And I guess it became a bit of a tourist hotspot, and I guess it also became a place to take your disabled kids, for a day camp sort of thing. But anyway, at the height of their notoriety, this would have been 2000 or so, they had opened their own little gift shop and stuff. And they started selling their own homebrew home video. And this thing is just so amateurishly made, and it's incredibly sloppy. It was obviously recorded over the span of several years. The amount of hair on Santa's head varies quite a bit. And it was obviously shot on more than one video format. The quality just is all over the place. So, yeah. So that is, of course, the video that we're going to cover here, and in its nice, very ghetto packaging. But yeah, it's Santa Stories, and yes, that is indeed a regular piece of printer paper functioning as artwork. Now, the basic idea here is that Santa is spouting off Christmas's greatest hits. telling stories, stuff like "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" and so on and so forth. But the problem is that Santa himself does very little storytelling here. He mostly just hands it off to some really, really poor dubs of very common public domain Christmas cartoons. Now, when we do actually get to see Santa in action, for the most part, he is talking to children. And the kids all fall into one of two camps. They either look very, very confused, or they look incredibly uncomfortable. So anyway, getting back to the story of Santa Claus here, we learned the hard way a couple years ago that Santa Claus is indeed mortal. Santa A. Claus died in August of 2020, and according to his family, if they are to be believed, he died right at 12:25 p.m. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holiday, happy holiday.
Was the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. And laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. Over all the years, I've made many friends, and a lot of them are boys and girls just like you. Here I am with two of my favorite friends. Reindeer are beautiful animals, and the largest herds live in Alaska, Canada, Scandinavia. As you can see, they have no antlers. Male and female both have antlers in the reindeer herds. My best friends are Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And who else?
Rudolph!
You kids all know the story about Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Well, Philip and I are going to sing the song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And then afterwards, we're going to let you look at a cartoon all about Rudolph. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all?
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it,
Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you lead our sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, you'll go down in history. Now we'll look at the cartoon, and you can see Rudolph himself.
I need you tonight.
Since you all did so wonderful on your spelling test yesterday, I have a surprise for you today. Santa Claus is coming today to read you some wonderful Christmas stories.
Merry Christmas, everyone! Then they started to rise as the lightning-like flash tore open the skies, whose coming would bring so much comfort and joy. As they reached Bethlehem and the inn was in sight.
In Austria, the Christmas tree is the most important part of the holiday. Each town has its own tree in the center square, adorned with silver and gold balls. On Christmas Eve, all local shopkeepers close early as families join together to observe the first lighting of this magnificent tree.
Hello, Amanda. Do you remember when you were a small girl and you had a sleepover at your house? You had all your friends in your night clothing sitting around on the floor, and I was sitting in a rocking chair in my long johns, and I was telling you and your friends the stories of how Christmas is celebrated in the different countries all over the world.
Yes.
Dip into the holiday spirit with something new. McDonald's Holiday Chicken McNuggets in festive 9 and 20-piece packs and 2 new sauces. Tangy cranberry with a twist of orange and sweet apple spiced with cinnamon. Better chime in before holiday McNuggets are gone.
And remember to give McDonald's gift certificates this holiday season. They're good for hamburgers, fries, sundaes, and some of the biggest smiles you'll ever see.
This is Sergeant Gordon Reed reporting from a radar station of NORAD's distant early warning line in Alaska. The DEW line searches the skies 24 hours a day to detect incoming aircraft which could be unfriendly or unknown. We have just spotted an object we've been looking for since it was first reported a short time ago. It has been identified as a friendly airborne vehicle drawn by 8 reindeer and guided by a fat man with a long white beard. His payload has been determined to be a large number of toys and gifts marked for children throughout the United States and Canada. He seems to be checking a long list of names to make sure all the gifts go to the right boys and girls. This is Sergeant Gordon Reed in Alaska.
Oh, quit playing coy. It's Santa Claus and you know it. Anyway, today's second and final album is simultaneously one of the laziest and most bizarre albums that I have covered on this show to date. Now, in my opinion, with extremely rare exceptions, Christmas music and rap music are completely incompatible. But back in the early 90s, that didn't stop someone from trying to make a Christmas rap album. And I can really only guess that it was somebody's incredibly lunk-headed attempt at modernizing the standards. So anyway, this thing came out on a label, a very short-lived one, that we actually briefly touched on at the end of last year's Christmas episode, and that would be Silver Bells Music, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. And that almost never ends well, does it? But if you remember that tape that I covered at the end of that episode, it was this very slapdash mix of pop and novelty renditions of various Christmas standards. Well, this sucker blows that turkey right out of the water, with an even bigger turkey. So anyway, from 1992, it's Christmas rap music. Nice creative title there. As performed by Crew X, which I can just about guarantee never existed. So anyway, there are 12 cuts on that thing. All but one of them are Christmas standards, and I think all public domain ones, and then one then new tune right at the end. So anyway, I'll give them this much. I really honestly didn't think you could take, say, a waltz like It Came Upon a Midnight Clear and force it into rap form, but they did it. It sucks, but they did it. And that's as high a compliment as I can pay to this thing. Otherwise, yeah, I think I probably should have held out for a cassette copy of this thing. This is easily one of the most ear-splittingly bright sounding CDs that I have ever heard.
On the
first Noel, the angels just say, certain poor shepherds in the field as they lay, in the fields where they lay, keeping the sheep on the cold winter's night that was so deep.
Christmas wrap is the first Noel. Born is the King of Israel. 1, 2, 3, hit it!
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Fa la 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 la. 'Tis a season to be joyful and jolly. Fa la 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 la. Down we now, our gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. It came upon the midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch the harps of gold. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Now, we the kings of Orient are just bearing gifts that we travel so far. It was field and fountain and moor and mountain. We were following yonder star. Star of wonder, a star of might. Star of royal, beauty bright. It was westward leading and still proceeding. Won't you guide us to thy perfect light?
On the first day of Christmas, my true listen to me, a papa partridge in a pear tree.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a papa partridge in a pear tree.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a papa partridge in a pear tree.
It's a Santa rap. I said the Santa rap. You want a ball or a bat, $1 a hat, go to Santa sack. To every house, to every girl and boy, Santa carries a sack crammed full of toys up and down my chimney every Christmas Eve. It's a Santa rap. I said the Santa rap. You want a ball or a bat, $1 a hat, it's in the Santa sack. It's a Santa rap.
This is Major Harold McKinney at North Bay, Canada. A few minutes ago, we scrambled 2 interceptor aircraft to investigate an object we've been following on our radar. From his altitude and speed, we're sure it must be Santa Claus.
North Bay Control, this is Helper 1-4, over.
Helper 1-4, North Bay, go ahead.
This is Helper 1-4. We have him on our radar now. He's going south at a high rate of speed. Looks like he'll be on time at the rate he's going. And I can have him visually now. I can see him about 2 miles level at 3 o'clock position. I'll move in for a closer look. I think he sees us. Yes, he sees us now. He's waving and he's laughing. We'll fly escort with him to assure him safe passage. This is Helper 1-4, over.
Roger 1-4, North Bay Control out. Well, it looks like a safe journey for Santa to the homes of children everywhere, and lots of Christmas cheer throughout North America. This is Major Harold McKinney at Northern NORAD Region Headquarters, North Bay, Canada.
Doesn't that defy the laws of Santa physics, as it were? I don't know, maybe fighter jets are just a lot more powerful than I think they are. Keeping up with Santa Claus. Jeez. Anyway, let's move on to today's final item and the unintentional centerpiece of this year's Christmas episode. And of course, it would be the most painful item of the lot. But let's get into it. So, I think we can safely say, at least as far as our American viewers go, that the vast majority of us at least know the name Kathie Lee Gifford. And of course, she's best known for hosting and co-hosting various morning TV talk shows. Live with Regis and Kathie Lee with Regis Philbin, and later on co-hosting The Today Show for a decade plus, and consuming prodigious amounts of alcohol while on air. But having said that, even before the talk show stuff, she has had this very long and still ongoing, if kind of sporadic, career as a singer and an actress, and she's done stage work, she's written stage plays, she's written books. But for everything she has done, I don't think anyone's ever really accused her of being a children's entertainer. But there was this period in the mid-90s where she was trying her darndest to be just that. And I can only assume it was born out of her having a couple kids of her own in the early 90s. So with that, in 1995, Kathie Lee put out a trio of videos and accompanying albums, albeit sold separately. And they pretty much landed right in the bargain bin. And I think Kathie Lee has done her darndest to bury this period of her career. This stuff is, the albums certainly are obscure enough to the point where, as of my making this, those albums are not listed on Discogs. Otherwise, she just does not have the personality for kiddie stuff, and you are gonna see that in spades here. But anyway, I should also note that if you know her history well enough, there was a bit of a controversy surrounding sweatshop involvement, which wasn't really all that fair to her, but it put enough of a black mark on her that it just moved these things to obscurity that much quicker. Anyway, getting back on point here, I have got the Christmas installment of those videos. Kathie Lee's Rockin' Tots Cafe, a Christmas GIF. But yeah, Kathie Lee plays a waitress of sorts at some weird-ass cafe that only seems to have grade school-aged kids for customers, and they don't serve any food or drink, but they do sing songs, mostly very well-known ones and very plastic renditions thereof. And I should note that Jim Ed Norman, the name won't mean much to most of my audience, but he spearheaded the music here. He arranged a buttload of 70s and 80s hits, but he was truly phoning it in here. So, yeah, I think it goes without saying that I am going to talk over this one. I don't think we'll survive it otherwise. You know, normally I'd have some cute remark here, but I don't know if this is a hill I'm willing to die on. But it's too late to turn back now.
Kathie Lee's Rockin' Tots Cafe.
Well, that was mercifully brief.
Brace yourself. She's gonna sing. Hey, cool kids, it's me. Your waitress and your best buddy, Kathie Lee.
Yep, Regis Philbin was such a tightwad, Kathie Lee had to pretend to wait tables, too.
I can sing a few songs, and there's a whole lot of dancing going on. And you're welcome here, 24 hours a day.
So it's a Waffle House for kids, complete with abject depression.
Company, and spinning the tunes is Duke the Duke.
Who, strangely enough, does not have a certain Genesis album in his library.
Thank you very much.
Given the name, shouldn't he be doing a John Wayne impression?
She's the waitress of the house, and she'll be dishing up lots of her delight.
breaking numerous health, safety, and labor laws in the process.
Ready to rumble, it's Gift the Bear who never fumbles.
Boy, Kathy Lee had Frank Gifford by the balls, didn't she? With actually then. Oh, don't tell me that's actually him.
Well, the door's wide open, so come on in. All the fun's about to begin. We're gonna rock and sing and play.
Under duress.
Rockin' Tots Cafe. Kathy Lee's Rockin' Tots Cafe. We're gonna rock and sing and play.
Nobody wheeze for Kathy Lee Gifford.
Kathy Lee's Rockin' Tots Cafe. Come on, everybody, I'll show you the way to Kathy Lee's Rockin' Tots Cafe.
Naturally, she didn't mention me.
I think we found the one sympathetic character here. That's not a tattoo, just an especially large tick bite.
Goodbye, Mom! See you later! Bye! Bye, Mom, Dad! Hi, kid!
Hey, kid! Glad you're here!
Where's Kathy Lee?
No!
Hi, kids!
Crisis averted.
Welcome to the Rockin' Tots Cafe, where we always serve fun and it's a cool place to play.
So cool that the kids only dance along in an attempt to stay warm.
Soon enough. You know, Christmas is just around the corner, so I thought it would be great to decorate this place, so then we...
Insert sweatshop joke here.
Christmas is such a wonderful time of year. There's so many things that make it special, right?
Like candy and presents. I love Christmas vacation, no homework.
Hey, no fair. I always had to write an essay.
All those things add up to one very special reason why we celebrate Christmas.
What is it?
Well, it's a holiday in which the birth of the baby Jesus is celebrated, but that's not important here.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we always love around here is singing and dancing and having fun, right?
But not the right to have fun.
Holiday mood.
Yeah!
Hi, Kathy. Hey, kids.
Pee-wee Herman had a garage sale, I guess.
Things rolling.
Okay, but Duke, you know what? We really need sort of a rockin' Christmas song to get us into a swinging Christmas mood.
Okay.
Sweet. Maybe some Louis Armstrong or Fats Waller?
Jeez, she's gonna sing again.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that, Paul.
Fair enough. Rocking around the Christmas tree. Apparently Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree and Jingle Bell Rock are the same song.
Blowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun.
And as such, we will literally hop around.
Jingle bell rock, jingle bells chime in jingle bell time.
Which AT&T, MCI, and Sprint all charge you out the nose for. Hey, if I'm stuck watching something from 1995, I will tell jokes from 1995.
Right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time.
You know, I'm starting to agree with the bear arm. Kathy Lee has even less range and less power than I do.
Horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock.
Seriously, boys, you're giving up that sweet seesaw table to be the caboose in Kathy Lee's love train? Say la, what the hell, say the young folks. Come on, Frank, or you're sleeping on the couch tonight. Yeah, I can't do Kathy Lee. You know, poor old Chubby Checker twisted himself right off the stage, but these two stay perfectly afoot. There is no justice in this world. Miniature Leon Russell clones.
To rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time.
To suck the liquor out of the candies and put them back in the box.
Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock.
What, no Caligari-esque grandfather clock for them to dance in a circle around? How can I understand this song if you won't give me an overly literal visual to go with it? I'm a stupid, stereotypical millennial, damn it! And Kathy Lee wonders why she's regarded as a bit of a wine mom.
Around here, kids, I'm proud of us. Looks like we're almost ready for Santa Claus.
Not yet, Kathy Lee. We have to leave a special treat for Santa.
With extra droppings.
You're right. We better make up a whole other batch of these Christmas cookies. Heaven forbid Santa lose a couple of pounds. He loves these cookies.
Yep, Walmart brand. Santa's a man of culture.
We all love cookies.
Why don't you guys help me decorate these, okay? You know, it just occurred to me, Christmas is a whole lot like one of these cookies.
Plain, and could probably make a stucco roof with the damn things. Yeah, I get a little cynical around the holidays. More so than usual.
These are for Santa. I want to make sure I'm on his good list.
Forget it, Pa. It's going to take a whole lot more than that for you to get on Santa's good list. You have to listen to my album 10 times.
Oh, why do I...
You know, Barrett, you could quite easily kill, or at least maul, Kathy Lee. Just saying.
Song. Come on, let's hip-hop.
I feel lighter already.
'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the house
A drunk aunt was stumbling around.
the creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
I'm stirring.
And a puppeteer missed their cue on what probably would have been the only decent joke here.
There.
Yo, baby, I ain't no chimney. Won't ever catch me smoking.
Oh, we have ways of releasing electronics blue death smoke around here.
Danced in their heads. And me and my jammies and Mooch in her cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
I'll take a long winter's nap, even if it has to be carbon monoxide induced.
Matter! So what's the matter here?
Hey, lady, it would sure be a shame if something happened to your non-functioning, probably illegal restaurant here.
Gave such a cheer! He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot and disgusting with cookie crumbs, frosting, and soot.
Well, you know, it's bound to happen when you find your bear costume in a dumpster.
Dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a berry.
Even the weirdest furries are turned off by this.
Broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. Like a bowl. Thank you.
Yes, a gyrating bear, kids. Merry Christmas.
And filled all of the stockings, then left with a jerk. That's you, Pa.
Hey, if it means escaping with Santa, we're all jerks here.
Popped out of sight.
Merry Christmas to all.
And to all a good night.
The jukebox is checking out Kathy Lee.
It's the sound of one ball clapping.
The same reception Kathy Lee's albums got.
Well, it's time for you kids to start heading home.
Can't we stay? We don't want to leave. We're having too much fun.
Well, not really, but another 15 minutes and we'll get double scale.
Keeping the Christmas spirit in your hearts all year long. Will you do that?
Yeah!
From Moochie and the...
Okay, you win, Kathy Lee. I'm starting to find the mouse attractive. I hope you're happy.
Rockin' Todd's friends. We hope you've had fun.
Now put down that gun.
We can't wait to see you again.
And serve you an asbestos sundae.
Here is a message that's meant just for you.
If you keep making fun of me, you'll never see your parents again.
We love you. We do. We love you.
Hello, my dear. Listen to yourself, Ben. It's a mouse puppet.
We love you. We do.
Why do I feel like I'm being drafted into a cult?
We do.
Keep smiling. God, I can't wait to lose these smelly-ass kids.
So long, everybody. We'll see you next time at Kathy Lee's Rockin' Tots Cafe.
Holy emotional whiplash, Batman.
Cafe.
Oh God, it's gonna start all over again. Albeit with credits. Still feels like purgatory. Which is probably what Kathy Lee had in mind anyway.
Hi, Cafe.
Well, to wind down the pain levels, let's check in with NORAD one last time.
This is Colonel Noel Holliday at the NORAD Combat Operations Center. For some time now, radars of the North American Air Defense Command have been tracking Santa Claus on his way from the North Pole into Canada and the United States. Our radar station in Alaska earlier identified a sled being drawn by 8 reindeer, loaded with gifts for children across the land. We're providing Santa a fighter interceptor escort composed of a United States Air Force F-106 and a Canadian Forces CF-101 to assure the jolly old gent a safe arrival.
Chapter 28. We've received the track and now have it on display here. Keep us advised of development.
Our latest reports indicate that Santa is being seen in many places at once. We're sure our radar is operating properly. It's just that Santa is making numerous landings, bringing joy and happiness to children throughout North America. Santa's on his way, and he's on schedule. So from all of us at NORAD, a very Merry Christmas.
Hey, success. The kids of 1969 will be so thrilled. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's archive. And just as a little bit of instantly dated housekeeping here, I'm going to give myself an extra week before the next regular archive episode so I can hopefully, take a couple of days off for Christmas and try and do some neglected projects around here. So with that, even though it's so soon after the last one, I've got another archive thrifting lined up for you next week. We'll call it a New Year's-ish edition. The following week, we'll do the Ben's Junk thing or something like it, and then we will pick up with regular archive the second week of January. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that good stuff. Now, let's do that Santa rap thing one more time.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
Dasher and Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. And don't forget the one with the shiny nose. It's a Santa rap. I said the Santa rap. You want a ball or a bat, $1 a hat, it's in the Santa sack. It's a Santa rap with his reindeer rap. Clippity-clap, tippity-tap, Santa rap.
Merry Christmas, little Smurfs everywhere.